I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Monday, January 13th, 2025. 7 days to go, folks. 7 days. Our long national nightmare is over. The Obama third presidency ends next Sunday night. Monday, we'll have a new president and the end of the Obama era. Thank goodness it's over. Whew, my goodness. Finally. Long national nightmare of dividing America on race and class will be coming to an end as we revert to normalcy in this country, and the world will be a better place for it. Welcome back to the program, folks. Always a pleasure to have you join me right here on Chris Wyatt Reports. It's Monday. Wow, 20 degrees Celsius here in my abode on the 13th of January, 2025 at 11:07 Eastern Standard Time, which would make it 6:07 Central African Time, which is the time zone for South Africa. Welcome back. If you're in the United Kingdom, it's a few hours behind. And if you're in mainland Europe, just 1 hour behind that, 5 p.m. So welcome back, folks. Lots to talk about as always, although I've cut back on the news articles a little bit today. I want to thank everybody who's tuned in to watch my video. I did 3 videos last night. I finally went to bed sometime after 3 a.m. producing videos for breaking events and stories before they got too old. First one was Fikele's fantastic yacht. Yacht tour while millions suffer under ANC-driven poverty. And then ANC renewal, Ramaphosa's needle is stuck in the groove. I kind of like that one. I didn't get many comments on that. And then ANC defends Fikile Mbalula's awful display of opulence. Apparently my pronunciation of Mbalula is something that bothers people. I'm so sorry. Would you like fries? Would you like some wine with that burger? Anyway, so first off, I want to really thank people for the Fikele video, which is, let's see, it's doing pretty well. I mean, under YouTube shadow banning, it's doing very well at the moment. 14,600 views. Wow, that's pretty good. And the number is climbing at 2,200 per hour. Keep it up, folks. Keep watching that video. Appreciate it. Push it higher. You know, we've had some modest success here since after Christmas. Things have looked a little bit brighter and better. A couple little surges here and there. So thank you for that. Do appreciate it. And kind of exciting stuff that when people actually watch your content, even if they don't like your content, that's fine. Neville Purdon's mom has pneumonia. She's an elderly lady. Thoughts and prayers to her. That's never easy for anyone, let alone someone at her age. So let's have good thoughts and good prayers for Neville. Chris Sten is here. Hendo, of course. Good evening to you. Arthur Chokes is back saying apocalyptic. Are you talking about the fires in California, perhaps? I'm not sure. I do have a video that I want to play for you guys. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Okay, that's not right. That isn't right at all. There it is. Oh, here we go. We'll get this up in a second. Let me get this up. Let me get this up very quickly. So we're going to get to that in a few moments. But let me finish the greetings to everybody. Then we're going to talk about the results of matriculants, the matric examination results, which are out. Well, sort of out. And apparently South Africa is brilliant. Its amazing results must mean that South Africa will be leading the charge into the artificial intelligence revolution, robotics, genetics, gene splicing, ANC, space travel. Except it won't happen because it's all bogus. It's all nonsense. Patting these kids on the back, telling them they've done a great job when they have barely gotten by is not a responsible act by adults. But we'll get to that in a few moments. Let me finish saying hello to everybody. So Chris Sten, I already said. Leah Minar, welcome to you, Leah. Monray Sieberts. Apparently it's quite hot in Cape Town. Fleshin, welcome to you. Hendo, Gus is back. Good to see there, Gus. There's Erica. Okay, Erica, good to see you. What's going on here? How did this thing jump? There we go. I went quite a ways there. Pablo Charlie in from the Netherlands. Arctic is in. Who knows where Arctic is at? Somewhere in the skies. Busy fiddling with his mobile device instead of flying the aircraft. But hey, you know, they've got autopilot, so don't worry about that, folks. Arctic, good to see you again. Meerkat says, stay strong. Okay. Light rain in from the west coast of the United States. Richard Kuhn. Good to see the number of American viewers is creeping back up slowly. We used to have a lot more before the YouTube censorship and taking my original channel away. But I'll tell you, folks, you don't think that there's a thumb on my content? I put videos about America on South Africa, this channel, which has fewer subscribers than my other channel. Mind you, fewer subscribers than my other channel. This channel, I put videos like the wildfires, and I get 40 times more viewers here than I got on the same video with a different banner published on my original channel. Did that with 3 videos just to prove it. The Trump video, the Greenland video, and then the video on the LA wildfires. All of them got less than 200 views. But on this channel, they got 2, 3, 4,000 views. Just showing you how corrupt the system is. But anyway, I'm not going to rail against that. So good to see U.S. viewers tuning in here. Please subscribe to @RealChrisWyatt too and help me overcome the shadow banning over there. Tom Smith, welcome to Tom. And then Garrett Gillich in for Somerset West. ANC apologizers attacking me for foreign pronunciation of African names. Yes, they are very narrow-minded idiots. I agree with that, Meerkat. They don't bother to offer the correct way to pronounce it. They just hurl insults. That's just useless. Sometimes people try to get me to pronounce things differently. I take personal offense to it because I go to great effort to pronounce names correctly the way they're pronounced by people who speak them. Hence the reason, also viele Leute denken, dass ich eigentlich Deutsch bin, weil also mein Akzent ist ja nicht amerikanisch, nicht Englisch, sondern etwas anderes. C'est la même chose avec le français parce que l'accent de moi c'est très très bien que la plupart des autres gens, surtout les Anglais, parce que les Anglais avec l'accent c'est vraiment bizarre. Quand les Anglais parlent le français, c'est comme ça. Je suis d'Angleterre. Yeah. Anyway. So I do kind of take offense to that. So, I mean, if people want to insult me, that's one way to insult me. Just tell me that I don't pronounce names correctly because I make a good effort to do it. I really do. I really do. Charmaine's back. PK is here. And Charmaine says, shout out to the people in the chat. Hit the like button. Please do that. Yeah, Dems aren't stupid. They will wait Trump out and continue on. That's correct, Arctic. That's correct. But it's the end of Obama's reign. He's done. His third presidency is over now. John Huchin, how you doing there? From Arizona. And Shireen is here. Hey, Doc, how's it going? Who else we got here? I'm missing somebody. Charles Van Altzen, the voice of reason, has made it in with us. And Richard Kuhn, I said already. Pablo Charlie Gus, I'm getting the same names again here. Holden Caulfield's back. Would there have been a Barack Hussein Obama if there wasn't a Bandar Bush? Well, there wouldn't have been a George Bush if there hadn't been a Bill Clinton. There wouldn't have been a Bill Clinton if George Herbert Walker Bush had actually tried to run for re-election. And there wouldn't have been a Bill Clinton if James Carville hadn't been around. It's the economy, stupid! No, it's not the economy. We weren't in a recession. That's a lie perpetrated by the media so they could get rid of Bush. So, yeah, if we hadn't had a Bill Clinton, we wouldn't have had a Bush. If we hadn't had a Bush, we wouldn't have had Obama. If we hadn't had Obama, we wouldn't have had a Trump. Pretty good guarantee there. Yeah, the only one that does it, the one that breaks that mold is that we got Biden, and that wasn't because of Trump. We got Biden because of the lies. But anyway, whole other story. So, thank you, Holden, for that comment. The Colonel speaks 6 languages, actually, Holden, to varying degrees of proficiency. Robert Franklin Moore, Mabula on a yacht was a not. That's pretty good, Tom. I like that. Chris Marie, so proud. My niece got 6 distinctions. Well, congratulations there, Chris Marie. Charles says, pronounce it any way you like. No real loss. My trick, however, it irks me. Matric is the Safa way. Matric? That doesn't make any sense, man. Matriculation? Ugh. Nah, matriculation. Sorry. I do pronounce that in American style. You're right about that one. Yeah, name's okay, but not... what's his... What are you trying to say there, Tom? Christo Else is here. I missed Christo somewhere. Hakan Engman in from the Netherlands. Who else we got here? I'm missing a few other folks. So, names are... Okay. Congrats on the Philadelphia Eagles win. Well, Pablo Charlie, I don't care about the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't really care. I don't think I've ever cared about the Philadelphia Eagles, even when I followed the NFL. I think one year I actually kind of rooted for them. That was it. What else we got here? Charmaine says, do you think the ANC tried to keep this matric results out of the papers because they did so bad? No. I don't know why they tried to do it. They tried to play this game about it. It was a violation of POPI Act. It's not a violation of the POPI Act. Nonsense that. So I don't know why they're hiding the matric. It's just crazy. Mr. Big says 5 and 2 are fluent. No, 3 are fluent, brother. Fluent in 3 languages. Yep, used to be fluent in 4 languages. I was fluent in Swahili, but man, lack of use, that thing kind of failed. So, is the distinction still 80%? Is it now? Exactly, America. That very much is the question. What is a distinction? That's why I asked. Not to pick up on pick on CB's niece. Dit is inderdaad te veel mensen. No. Oh, okay. Why changed it to CB1? Okay. Oh, Mr. Big says 5 and 2 for you. Gotcha, Mr. Big. Gotcha. You got 5 languages and you got 2 fluently. The fluent ones would be, I assume, English and Afrikaans, because it's not Hungarian. I know you speak, but it's not fluent, is it? Extinctions are government psyop. I agree, Matthew. Matthew Dixon, where have you been? You have been missing in action. We are about to send a search party out. I was going to organize a commando. Oh, don't say that. The ANC will get upset. I'm going to organize a commando to go out and look for Matthew Dixon. He's been busy on Ronaldo's channel, but absent on this channel. We're about to spank him. You know, in fact, I was going to say next time I hear him chat, I'm just going to give him a block because he never shows up anymore. George Bush covered up the Franklin, Nebraska human trafficking. I don't know about that story. Why would George Herbert Walker Bush cover up a trafficking story in Nebraska? And who was trafficking in Nebraska in the 1980s? Broncos are gone, right? They got crucified. By the way, look, the Broncos deserve their loss. Anyone that wears those retarded, idiotic, tangerine trousers really shouldn't be playing sports. What did Elizabeth ever do to her loser report? Nothing. Matthew stuck in Mama's basement. Mr. Big's got a sad face for the Broncos. I'm sorry, Mr. Big. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. That's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. But I don't follow the NFL, so yeah. But I would get why you'd be a Broncos fan. It's like, the same, pretty much, Colorado, go north to Alberta. It makes sense. All right, so Siviwe Garuba, is that okay? Did I get it correctly? The large and in charge Minister of Education, member of the Democratic Alliance, had a message for the Matrix today. Matrix, I can take it. Yeah, no, I'm with you, Mr. Big. Had a message for them today. Let's listen to her message. We want to hear what she has to say to the Matrix today, okay? Is that better, Charles? Am I saying it correctly now, Matrix?
South Africa needs you. And as we continue to navigate the complexities of the modern world, we require leaders who are innovators, who are thinkers, and who are going to take us forward. But we also require ethical leaders.
Sorry, I just realized the desktop wasn't working. So let's go back to the beginning, and we'll turn that on now. Here you go. All right, you'll hear it now. Sorry about that, folks.
South Africa needs you. And as we continue to navigate the complexities of the modern world, we require leaders who are innovators, who are thinkers, and who are going to take us forward. But we also require ethical leaders. We require ethical leaders. For too long, we have never paid attention as a country and as a continent to ethics for leadership. So I ask you, as you take on the new chapter in your life, be an ethical leader. Think about what it is that you have been taught in school and at home, and let that be the guiding light as you enter into the big world. We want ethical leaders. You are not just leaders for tomorrow, but you are the hope for today. So I'm filled with energy and I'm beaming with hope about the potential that will come from this room.
Well, all right. First off, what I'd like to say about that video is that I'd really appreciate if you keep the hand dancer off to the side. Is that insensitive to people with hearing disabilities? No, it's not. That's not helpful. You can put closed captioning underneath it. That's very distracting, seeing part of a person's hand and arm dancing in and out of the video. So let's do a little better job recording the video next time. Second, look, whatever you have to say about Siviwe Garuba, good or bad, you have to admit that she is light years. She is a great distance better than her predecessor, Angie Motshekga, missed 30%. So look, I'm not buying this whole thing with this matric results. Gosh, now I'm going to have a hard time saying that. It just sounds, ugh. I have a hard time saying that, Charles. Am I getting it right? Yeah, am I getting it right? Matric? Do you think old Joe's last night might be pardoning Jack Smith? I don't think that's going to be the case. PK said, I love her and feel sad that she has to bow down the ANC. I don't know that I love her. The couple times I made an effort to meet her, she was very off-putting and distant and had no interest in meeting peons like me. And that just kind of struck me the wrong way. So maybe that just came across wrong, but I didn't really go back to Matrix, says Charles. Okay, go back to Matrix. Yeah, so look, nothing against Siviwe. I'm sure she's a lovely person. And, she has a very low bar to overcome. So we'll see. I'm sure she'll exceed that bar no matter what. But she and her party did roll over and take it up the backside with a Bella bill. So they've lost all credibility with the public. No credibility whatsoever. No credibility whatsoever. I wish Siviwe could do more and that she was not held back by the government. No way I'm trusting her with her party with my kid's future, says Arctic. Okay, what they were taught in school. Okay, got you that. Okay. All right, what else we got here? Awkward Leon's back. She will 100% be the next DA leader. Really? Well, that's not encouraging. Holden says, maybe later in the show we could discuss the 20 June meeting where the Bureau of Intelligence and Research discussed a deeper dialogue with the Muslim Brotherhood. Boy, Holden, you really go down some rabbit holes, man. You're going to have to give me this stuff ahead of time. Erica said I was nearly right with my matric. Not attend the Bella Bill ceremony. Yes, she didn't attend it. Whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo. That really didn't change the outcome, did it? So I didn't criticize her. It's her prerogative. I don't think she had to be there. But the ANC sycophants criticized her, but I didn't think she had to be there. Look, the results, whatever you're going to call them, matric, motric, whatever they're called, they're not encouraging. They're also fictional. Let's talk about that. You guys say motric. How do I drop the H in matric when you spelled it matric? Yes, ANC outplayed her by country mile. That's correct. They outplayed the DA. The DA has been beaten. Metric, like in the metric system, Mr. Big? Metric, it's a metric. PK's a stance against it, and also the unions hate her. She puts kids first. Well, she can put kids first, but as long as the law goes against the needs and desires of families and it punishes people for kids being truant by putting them in prison, and it also forces people to learn things in English, it's not really effective how much she cares about kids because the outcomes are what matter. So, like Meggie. Best way to pronounce it is standard 10. All right, enough of this nonsense. It's matric. I'm sorry. That's the end of that conversation. We're going to do that. All right, folks, on to more serious issues. A man is in custody after another mass shooting in South Africa. Boy, always criticizing America, but look at South Africa. Its own backyard is a mess. Man in custody for mass shooting that left 8 dead in Mpumalanga province. One person has been arrested in connection with the mass shooting that left 8 people dead. According to police spokesman Brigadier Donald Mduli, the 39-year-old man was taken into custody Sunday night, arrested in Pinar, and found in alleged possession of a firearm and 13 rounds of ammunition. Apparently, he didn't get them all off. At 4 o'clock in the morning, he opened fire, leaving a woman and 5 men dead at the scene. Another man and woman later died in hospital. 3 others receiving medical treatment after sustaining injuries. Incident yet again brings into sharp focus challenges posed by gun violence in this country. We are again calling on liquor traders to always prioritize the safety of their patrons. We further extend our deepest and heartfelt condolences to families of the deceased, and we also wish those who were injured a speedy recovery. Well, how about you prosecute criminals? Let's see what happens to this guy. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Airports Company South Africa is at it again, failing consumers, unable to secure fuel supplies. Airports Company South Africa says its 8-day supply at OR Tambo, the National Refinery Unit, could take until February 21st to get fixed. Wow. Airports Company South Africa said it's been notified by the Fuels Industry Association of South Africa, the National Petroleum Refiners of South Africa, had measures in place after the refinery fire on January 4th. Did anybody even report there was a refinery fire? I saw no news telling me there was a refinery fire. Wow. The crude distillation unit that was damaged in the fire was expected to be repaired and operational by February 21st. My goodness. A scheduled jet fuel delivery of 17,000 cubic meters expected to arrive on Sunday. Another planned pipeline delivery of 31,000 cubic meters from Durban was set for Tuesday. The Fuel Association said rail deliveries of jet fuel from Durban and Matola in Mozambique have been prioritized and stepped up to provide additional capacity. Airlines, passengers, and all stakeholders are assured that all necessary steps are being taken to maintain normal airport operations. In December, 54 flights were delayed for refueling issues caused by a faulty valve. Now, an absence of avgas is going to shut down OR Tambo. Pete, are you still there, Arctic? Are you still there? Is OR Tambo going to be shut down because there's no fuel? I mean, we're not going to put kerosene in the tanks, are we? Are we going to put kerosene in the tanks? Ladies and gentlemen, if you're planning a trip to South Africa, you might want to fly to Cape Town because there's going to be no fuel. Well, they're going to run out of fuel too, I guess. Oh, my goodness. Sedgefield's back. Good to see you there. Savage Daughter, welcome to you. Hence, I told you to ignore the one with H. Mutrick. Mutrick? It's Mutrick? That sounds horrible. The children passed the Mutrick. That's not how it sounds, folks. I listen to people announce this on the news. That's not what they say. Awkward answer. I would have preferred the DA get education since they stated they want gender-neutral bathrooms in schools on their website. The emphasis is on trick. My trick. My trick. Arguing about a word pronunciation. Yeah, exactly. Dangy pronounced Naj. Yeah, Tony Naj. I say Naj. Anyway. All right. Well, that's because you Hungarians, man, you're Euro-Arctic language, man. No one understands that stuff. Mass shooting in Gebera. Airports company South Africa is useless. No, it won't be shut down. We can just tanker fuel in. From where? From where? Safe to say fires are regular warfare? Well, when they're arson, they are. Mr. Biggs laughing. Say it in Afrikaans. Ik praat in Afrikaans nie. Eh? Oh, now you got it. I don't remember. Muttrick. Just say Matrix sounds. Did someone get a great deal with Shell pull? Yeah, I'm sure they did. But we're going to talk about Shell pulling out of Namibia today as well. Arctic says all international arrivals. Since when? When did OR Tambo stop being international? Answer's back. Okay. United flies to OR Tambo. So what's going on there? eThekwini deputy city mayor has resigned, calling it a political witch hunt. Ooh, shame. Durban, what's going on there? Suspended eThekwini deputy city manager, manager, pardon me, Sibusiso Makanya, has resigned from his position. Makanya. Did I pronounce that wrong? Is it not Makanya? Is it Makanye? What did I get wrong there? Astron was Caltex, and I preferred to shop at Caltrex. When it was Caltrex, that's where I got my petrol. I'm not getting my petrol from Astron. Horrible looking color scheme, evil BEE. Ugh, Caltex, yeah. Abandoning Caltex. Caltex was short for California, Texas. I love Caltex. Yeah, I used to go to Caltex all the time. Its green and red signs were awesome. When you called it Astron, you lost me as a consumer. Yep. So it was confirmed by the eThekwini city manager, Musa Mbela, who said that Makanya tendered his resignation last month. It's true. He resigned last month and left the city. Well, I guess that's a shame for him. EduMarks is accused of selling Matrix. Accused of selling the test results to students ahead of the release. Yep. EduMarks allegedly sells 2024 Matrix results for $99.90. Minister has warned of a possible breach. It has emerged that the company, EduMarks, allegedly sold results to pupils for $99.99 with a guarantee that if you couldn't download the results, you would get your money back. Well, the ANC is defended Fikile Mbalula. Fikile Mbalula. Did I get it right now? Did I get it right? Fikile Mbalula. Yeah, Fikile Mbalula. They're defending his use of a yacht. It's not a super yacht. It's a yacht. It's a small little pleasure boat that costs $700,000 US. The African National Congress says Party Secretary General Fikile Mbalula had a busy schedule around Cape Town that warranted transportation in the luxury pleasure boat over to Robben Island. Well, all the other schlubs took the ferry, minus President Ramaphosa, of course, who flew in a whirlybird over to the island in style. Yes, I'm not old. Who said I'm old? Stop that. Astron is modern. Caltex was old, like the Colonel. Oh, be quiet, Matthew. You're going to get spanked. You're going to get old. Action SA wants the independent investigator to take a look at the money spent by the crime intelligence guys to buy a hotel. What are they buying a hotel for? Is it to hide snitches? Jan Gerber, or is it Jan Gerber, because it's German. Action SA insists the IPID should investigate the police crime intelligence 22.7 million rand purchase of a luxury 24-bedroom hotel. This was after News 24 on Monday revealed the purchase of the hotel in the October 2024, back in October 2024 from a secret fund. Action SA MP Darlene James condemned the acquisition as an egregious abuse of police resources amid critical inefficiencies. It seems quite clear, ladies and gentlemen, that Darlene James is the accountability person for Action SA. She's calling out everything that she can find that went bad. I saw a Puma around Hazy View. Talking about a helicopter? Living the trillionaire's lifestyle. Yep, there you go. We're getting you a drum next year. You nailed it. Thank you, Charles. what? Who here buys petrol based on the ingredients and constituents? Nobody. I buy it based on the experience, and I'd like to Caltex. But when they ruined it with Astron, no thank you. No thank you. No thank you. It sounds like some sort of, erectile dysfunctional medication or, piles medication or some cancer treatment. Astron. With Astron, control your acid reflux. Symptoms include irritable bowel syndrome, aches, pains, high blood pressure, hypertension, sudden cardiac arrest. Please take Astron for your... Stilfontein, the Bufosfontein gold miners, my goodness. Smoking them out has succeeded. Activists insist government massacred illegal miners. Really massacred them. Activists in the Northwest have roundly condemned the government's slow intervention to rescue hundreds of illegal miners who became trapped after police descended on the area as part of Operation Vala Umgori. Tensions between the state activist community members in Stilfontein have been running high as the community members demanded the government rescue the miners. On the other hand, the government insists the miners were not trapped, but they were simply refusing to come to the surface. Interesting. What has transpired here has to be called what it is. This is Stilfontein massacre, because what the footage does is that it shows a pile of human bodies of miners who died needlessly. This massacre, which is what it is really a bloody culmination of the treacherous policy that is pursued by the government in this police operation. There's been a campaign of lies and fabrication about the state and the choices and the options these miners are having underground. It was said that they could always exit through shaft 10 or always exit miraculously from shaft 11. We've emphasized again and again that this is a 2-kilometer hole without a lift, without a staircase, and without a police system that the police and the company owning this mine dismantled. He said the miners were dying because of a police-backed deprivation of food and water while they could not come to the surface to surrender. So the miners went into the ground illegally. They stole gold. The police came and said, surrender. They didn't surrender, and it's the police's fault. Did the police actually dismantle the exit? So if the police dismantled the police system and the lifts and all the things to get out of there, how did the 2,500 or so miners who've been arrested now, how did they get to the surface? I would like to interview this gentleman. Let me get his name. I'm going to get his name and try to reach out to him. I would like to interview him for him to explain to me how did they drink Red Bull? Oh, I got it. So the miners were in the cave, in the mine at Bufosfontein gold mine in Stilfontein. And the police ripped away the lift, so they couldn't get out until a tuck shop owner who was clever went to the mines and dropped down in there, lowered it on a rope. Red Bull. The miners who escaped, the 2,500 have been detained and arrested now, they took the Red Bull. They drank it. Of course, Red Bull gives you wings. So they floated to the surface. Seriously. Look, I'm sorry. I don't buy it for a second. The police kept them from getting out of the mines. Then how are people getting out? How are they getting out? They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They're eating the miners. Good Lord. Give me a break. Well, so what do you think of the Mabalula luxurious grand yacht entrance at Robben Island? Thoughts on this, ladies and gentlemen? Well, there's a poll on Times Live. Another useless poll. NC Secretary General has been criticized for arriving. I like that image. I wish I was that clever with images and photos that I could do that. That would be so cool. I need software that teaches me how to do that so I can make these images because I can't do it. That's really, really cool. Dramatic entrance left some ANC leaders shocked, including Mayong Kanya and Gwen Ramakopa. But anyway, so they did a poll, and the poll questions were, what do you think of his luxurious yacht grand entrance? I'm not surprised. He likes to make a show of wealth. It contradicts the party's renewal, and only 9% said the mode of transport doesn't matter. 91% of the people took exception to it. I don't know what Red Bull you're drinking, Matt. You must be getting it from the local tuck shop. I've never gotten diarrhea from Red Bull. Okay, let's get to the Mutrick. Matric. Oh, matric. Let's get to those results, folks. Talk more about this story, which is all over the news today. Most of the candidates who wrote the IEB exams had just started grade 8 when the Rona struck. Why are these kids putting their shoes on the side of their chairs? What is that all about? Who takes their shoes off in school? That's creepy. I'm sorry. That just doesn't make any sense. The IEB class achieved a 98.47% pass rate. 98.47% pass rate. I call bullshit. But of course, we know why. We know why. Because 30, 30, 30, and 40%. That's why. Oh, he wasn't alone in that yacht, Ken. A bunch of ANC Youth Party members were with him. Yeah, they were drinking, Patron and swimming across there. Right on across the bay to Robben Island. Robben Island is in Soweto, right? You do know this. I'm sure that my viewers know that Robben Island is located in Soweto. Yeah, Joe Biden told me so. He visited Nelson Mandela there back in the 1990s or 80s. 1980s, he visited Nelson Mandela on Robben Island in Soweto. Of course, it's interesting because when I started this broadcast, there were a lot of South Africans who didn't even know that Soweto is not a word. It's not a name. It's not a Tswana word. It's not a Sotho word. It's not an Ndebele word. It is an acronym. And what does Soweto stand for? Southwest Townships. Yep, that's where it came from. Soweto, Southwest Townships. All right, so the pass rate is 98.47. I call BS. Now, the IEB is an independent assessment body that offers exams for IEB-registered schools in line with the curriculum standards set by the Department of Basic Education. A total of 16,304 candidates wrote the IEB National Senior Certificate exams last year, up from 15,000 candidates the year before. Most of the grade 12 candidates who wrote their exams did just started grade 8 back then. Anyway, so the lockdown, but 98%. So here are two students who did incredibly well. Lovely young man and lady. Joburg students ACIB exams with focus on life balance. St. John's College, Zach Erasmus, and Danfern College's Aaron Tomlinson each achieved 9 distinctions in the IEB results. Congratulations, just like Chris Marie's niece. That's pretty impressive. 9 distinctions. So sad that they'll have to move out of South Africa to get jobs because they look like they might be white. So they won't be able to find employment in South Africa in the government or in any contract for a BEE tender that's handed out to a broad-based black economic empowerment firm. They will be consigned to poverty and misery in South Africa. Probably won't get admission to university because 9 distinctions won't be enough to overcome the deficiency in skin pigmentation. Their melanin is far too weak. So congratulations to both these young kids. I don't mean to ruin their parade and rain on their parade, but South Africa is not your future because of the racists that run the country, sadly. But well done. Top achievers. For me, a big thing was just being well-rounded, said Zach Erasmus, who scored a whopping 9 distinctions. I kept playing the same instruments. I was playing in quite a few orchestras. I kept playing sports. I picked up running in triathlons. So stuff like that just took my attention away from academics. It allowed me to study much longer because I wasn't feeling burnt out. Okay, cool. He scooped distinctions in English home language, Afrikaans first additional language. That's impressive. Mathematics, life orientation, what the hell is that? History, information technology, physical sciences, as well as further English studies English and further studies mathematics extended. Congratulations, well done. That's interesting. Over at Danefern College in Fourways, that's where it's at, Fourways. Aaron Tomlinson also got 9 distinctions. She said she agreed to achieving your goals in the exams is finding balance so you don't overlook yourself and burn yourself out. I think my biggest challenge was finding the energy to get through it, but my advice is to focus on other things. Well, they both have said that. Pretty good. Now, Daneford achieved 100% pass rate. Sure. With 98% of the 57 matric candidates having further secured bachelor's degree passes. I'm sorry. I don't understand this at all, this system. I apologize. I don't. How do you go to college? It's a high school. It's not a college. A college comes after high school. It's tertiary education. You have primary, secondary, and tertiary. A college is tertiary education. Colleges make up universities. Universities are bodies comprised of colleges. How do you have a college in a high school? I don't understand this. I'm sorry. I know I'm going to get a lot of beef for this, but I don't understand it. It's like the whole thing when we were talking about rugby and we were talking about varsity a few years back when I was learning. I like varsity. Varsity is high school, not college. It's not university. It's backwards in South Africa. You do everything backwards. No wonder your pass rate's so low. Well, here's another outstanding performance. Independent Examinations Board has achieved 98.7 rate, as I've already said. Interesting. St. Cythian's Boys College and St. Cythian's Girls College in Santon had a flawless 100% pass rate for the 251 candidates. Remarkable 98.4 bachelor's degree pass rate and impressive 742 distinctions, with 10 earners receiving the prestigious summa cum laude for maintaining an average of 90% or more. We don't get summa cum laude for 90% or more. We get summa cum laude for 95%. Anyway. All right. Congratulations to head boy Fatuani Mandal's leadership. Anyway, it doesn't say what his scores are. 100% pass rate at St. Stithians. Yeah, 100% pass rate. I'm not buying this. It's easy to get 100% pass rate when the scores to pass are 30, 30, 30, and 40. But that doesn't undermine the performance of many of these students. Kyra Benbrook, Zoe Earlham, Madison Graham, and Gabriella Nutsis were placed on the list for commendable achievement. They achieved within the top 5% of pupils in 5 or more subjects and a rating of 7 in life orientation. I still don't understand what life orientation is. Wow, some students achieved the top 1% of candidates. That's amazing. In accounting, life sciences, well done. And look, folks, let's be very clear. I'm not poo-pooing the academic achievement of many students here. They've achieved some incredible results. Their hard work, their hard effort, their application, and I wish them the very best. And I only hope that South Africa's economy takes off and the racism in the economy would disappear so that all South Africans have a fair shot at achieving success and contributing to future success of the country. But anyway, it's just a bunch of lying people. Life orientation is useless. Exactly. What the hell's life orientation? Is it teach you how to, sit properly and curtsy? Yep. Charles says St. Cythian's is our brother's school. Zim works on Cambridge, and they literally do a first year of university before they graduate high school. All right, that's interesting. It might explain their educational outcomes. You have to have to be able to enter university. Yeah, I understand that, Charles. I get that. But why are they calling it a college? It's not a college. I mean, Gray College. That's what threw me off. It's a high school. Do they still teach geography? I wonder if they do. I mean, distinction in English says Tottenham first. Well done. Okay. They donate their shoes on the last day of exams. Really? What's that all about? I don't know that tradition. Awesome to see we have still kids in school that want to learn. Exactly, Charmaine. I agree. What's this research question here, Richard? Some learners were caught with crib notes. Got you. The local high school donates their shoes on the last day of school. Well, Maryland says that too. Okay, cool. All right. Red Bull from the Spaza shops. Call it grade 12, Chris. Okay. Melissa Hartland is here. Life orientation is a school subject that helps students understand themselves in relation to others in society. Okay, I thought that's what adolescence was. They can work in Amazon. But the top tier schools all have honors masters for years. If they think a student will fail, they enroll a student in an independent student on their okay. Again, Arctic, but I got you, the top schools. But 98% pass rate, that sounds pretty cooked. What is the national average? That's just the elite group of schools. What's the national average? And what I would like to see is not how many have passed. I don't care about that. I want to know what the average score was. What were the scores? So at this school at St. Albans, was the average score 65? At Pretoria High School for Girls, was it 96? That's what I would like to know. Teaches us how to become successful like Fikini Mabula. Well, the IOL is really on. They just do not give up. They are just demented in their attacks. Edmund Peary, they're running another op-ed by him about Karen Mound, calling her a Nazi. Boy, I'll tell you what, they got to be careful here because, calling her a Nazi one time may be hyperbole, it may be opinion, but they're unequivocally stating that she's a Nazi, and that's going to be a problem. She continues her Nazi propaganda style reporting against Sekunjulao. Yeah, so in what has become a predictable pattern of bias reporting, I'm sorry, excuse me, the IOL talking about a predictable pattern of bias reporting. Okay. Hello, Kettle. This is Pot. You know what? You're black. Okay, so are you. That's the point. Yeah, bias reporting. Boy, the slander, well, the libel, actually, because it's in print, the libel that the toilet paper of record committed against Ronaldo Jose, and they have the audacity to run an op-ed complaining about bias reporting. That is just funny. Let's get back to this op-ed. So, Karen Mullin's January 9th article on the Competition Tribunal's ruling against Secugnolo reads more like a finely polished corporate propaganda than balanced journalism. This time, her propaganda tactics carry an even sharper edge of deliberate sleight of hand designed to mask the bank's far more humiliating defeat in the main collusion case concerning their coordinated closure of Secugnolo's accounts. Look, I will give the toilet paper of record credit. That story by Karen Mullin was very convoluted and difficult to follow. And quite frankly, I don't recall if I even reported on it because it was so confusing back on the 9th of January. 4 days ago. So that story did not highlight the fact that the banks were caught in collusion and shutting down all the bank accounts for Iqbal Survey's businesses. They did do that, and it was collusion, and it was wrong. They got caught. She focused on something else. So that's not truth in journalism. So I will give the toilet paper of record credit. They are right here, but their depiction of Karen Mullin as a Nazi is getting a bit tiresome, to say the least. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you live in the mother city of Cape Town, this may not come as a surprise to you. But for those who've never been to Cape Town, you might find it interesting that Cape Town is one of the 10 most congested, worst traffic cities on the planet. Given places like Bangkok and New York and Tokyo and London, this is quite shocking to be in the top 10. That's a hell of an achievement for South Africa to be one of the worst congested cities on the planet. Commuters lost 94 hours in traffic last year, putting the city in 7th place globally for congestion. Wow. Comprehensive study, which analyzed transportation data from 946 urban centers around the world, highlights Cape Town's severe road delays as a significant concern for commuters and the economy. Traffic can be a barometer for the economy. The movement of people, goods, and services creates demand for road travel, but when demand exceeds the supply of road space, it results in congestion. Duh. It means that while traffic congestion has a negative impact on the economy, it's a symptom of economic activity. 7th place, the 7th worst in the world. Well, I can attest to that. When I tried to go to the Sevens World Cup in 2022, it took me an hour and a half to get into Cape Town from Milnerton. Good Lord. Change your attention to parlez-vous anglais en Sud-Afrique? No, Tom, I don't speak French in South Africa. I do speak German on occasion in South Africa and some Afrikaans, a bit of Setswana, but do not speak French there. I've never met anyone. But I did speak French famously in Yokohama during the Rugby World Cup in 2019. I was in the train station in Yokohama, which is chaos if you've ever been there. It is chaos. And I was there trying to find out which train to get onto to go back to the Naval Air Station where I was staying overnight. Biggest room I had the whole time I was in Japan. It was excellent, a very comfortable, good deal. It was nice. Anyway, I couldn't figure out which train to get on. And I asked people, and no one spoke English. And then I got this guy's attention, this young guy. He looked like he wanted to help me. And I tried to speak to him in Japanese. I couldn't speak Japanese. He got that. He realized I couldn't speak Japanese. And so he tried French. And I said, yeah. And we spoke in French, and he helped me get on the correct train. So I'm forever grateful to that young man, the Japanese man who spoke French in Yokohama. Shell writes down its investment in Namibia. It looks like the excitement about petroleum is premature, not looking good. Shell writes down Namibia oil discovery in a major blow to the country. Shell Corporation will write down $400 million it wasted in an oil discovery offshore of Namibia that deemed commercially unviable, in a major blow to the Southern African country's hopes to become a crude producer. Shell and its partners, Qatar Energy and Namibia's national oil company, first discovered hydrocarbon in block PEL 39 in 2022, which together with another discovery by Total Energies made the nearby block sparked huge global interest in Namibia, which has no oil or gas production. Shell has drilled 9 wells in the license over the past 3 years, making several other discoveries. More recently, Portuguese oil company Galp also made a major discovery in a different offshore license, but the British company encountered technical and geological difficulties for development of the resources. While we recognize that extracting discovered resources presents challenges, the extensive data collected shows that there remain opportunities. So it's not a setback. We're positive the remaining potential for the block and other exploration campaigns will translate into commercial developments, said the ministry. Well, we shall see. $400 million written down. That's not a good deal for Shell investors. Thankfully, I'm a BP investor, not a Shell investor. What, in the Cabinda Enclave, Tom? Mozambique's opposition is calling for more chaos, 3 days of protest as the government takes hold. Mozambique opposition leader Venancio Mondlane, who's returned from exile last week, sparked confrontation between supporters and police, has called for 3 days of protest. He insists he was robbed of victory in October's elections. In a Facebook post late Saturday, he urged a national strike as new parliament convenes today. Well, that's not very helpful. There's cause and chaos. Al Jazeera reports that Mozambique opens a new parliament amid the protest and boycotts. 250 lawmakers were sworn in, while the opposition called for strike to protest the election results. He urged the supporters weekend to demonstrate our refusal. Police surrounded the Parliament building and military police surrounded the Parliament building and police blocked the main roads to the area during the inauguration. The city center, which is usually busy on a Monday morning, was deserted. Most shops are closed and protesters manning barricades in certain areas. Not looking good, Mozambique. This isn't going to go well. Well, that's in the wrong place. How did that get there? Sorry, something's very much in the wrong place. I got a U.S. story all the way over here amidst the wrong thing. So I got that fixed. Okay. There we go. Voters in Comoros went to the polls. We're still waiting the results yesterday for the 33-seat parliament. They headed to the polls Sunday to elect the Indian archipelago's 33-seat parliament, a year after the re-election of President Assoumani. Polling stations opened early Sunday, and voters numbering some 338,000 went to cast their ballots. Nearly 100 candidates were selected by the country's Supreme Court to contest. So 33 seats, 100 candidates, on average 3 candidates per seat. An Austrian woman has been kidnapped in Niger, 73-year-old taken. Austria's Federal Ministry for European International Affairs said on Sunday that its embassy in Algeria, which is also responsible for Niger, had been informed of the kidnap of an Austrian woman in Agadez and was in contact with authorities on the ground. According to information gathered by Air Info, armed kidnappers showed up at the door of Eva Gretzmacher, who lived in Agadez for the last 28 years, forcing her security guard to open the door at gunpoint before forcing her into a vehicle. She's well known for her social commitment and created a skills center in 2010 that initiated various projects, notably in the fields of education, women's empowerment. So they've taken the 73-year-old woman. Why? What has she done? It's not bothering anybody. Just terror. Neighboring Mali has begun seizing gold stocks from Barrick. Good Lord. Mali's government has begun enforcing a provisional order to seize gold stock at Barrick's gold site, the Canadian miner said in a note to Malian staff, warning again that it may have to suspend operations at the complex. The move suggests the Mali military-led authorities are not ready to back down the standoff over a contract based on new mining rules as they push for a greater share of revenue from Western miners. Well, good luck with that. You stop letting Barrick be in there, you won't be able to exploit the gold at all. Old news. What's this? What's this? That's a teacher had to write an exam before she could apply for a teaching job in Australia this season. Oh, yeah, exactly, Charmaine. Yeah, so again, that's the point with the education standards. They're low, and so people force you to take exams to see if you're actually educated. All right, so a man has been charged for allegedly performing a Nazi salute in Sydney. Wow. So gestures are criminal acts in fascist, totalitarian, National Socialist Australia. Police were called into a shopping center at 8:45 in the morning on Monday after reports of an individual making an offensive gesture. A 54-year-old man allegedly appeared before the Sydney court January 13 after being charged for allegedly performing a Nazi salute in a public space in Balmain in Sydney. The incident occurred on Monday at around 8:45. Upon arrival, officers from Leichhardt Police Station found the man allegedly making a Nazi salute. He was immediately arrested and taken to Newton Police Station, where he was charged with multiple offenses, including knowingly displaying a Nazi symbol without excuse, making a Nazi salute in a public place, hindering or resisting police in the execution of duty, and behaving in an offensive manner. Hey, Australia Police, can you read this gesture? He's been arrested. His making a gesture is a criminal act in Australia. Are you serious? What kind of kangaroo country is this? No pun intended. Kangaroo country of Australia arrests a man for a gesture. New South Wales police act swiftly on hate crimes. How's that a hate crime? Making a Nazi salute. Seriously? Incident in Balmain is the latest in a series of similar events where individuals have been charged with displaying Nazi symbols, performing Nazi salutes in public, a trend that has escalated following. I'm sorry, I don't recall the Nazis operating in Australia. Did I miss that part of the history class? In November 2024, a 20-year-old man was arrested for displaying a Nazi salute during a public event in Newton. A month before that, 3 construction workers were fined $500 and $1,500 for performing Nazi salutes outside the Sydney Jewish Museum, despite claiming the gesture was intended as a joke. Magistrate Judith Gibson remarked that if the men's actions had been premeditated, she would have considered their offense more severe. New South Wales Premier Chris Minns has condemned the display of Nazi symbols as remnants of a violent past that should have no place in modern society. And I condemn the fascist Nazi-like behavior of the Australian government in criminalizing gestures. Do you not see the irony that you're doing the exact same thing that the Nazis did, you morons? Good Lord. Unbelievable. China has achieved a record trade surplus through its industrial espionage, its illegal violation of World Trade Organization rules and standards, and its corruption. $1 trillion trade surplus. Yep, accumulating all the world's wealth, and it's all our fault. China's vast exports in 2024 exceed its imports on a scale seldom seen anywhere except during or immediately after the 2 world wars. China announced on Monday its trade surplus reached $1 trillion last year. We adjusted for inflation. China's trade surplus far exceeded any in the world in the past century, even those of export powers like Germany, Japan, or the United States. Chinese factories are dominating global manufacturing at a scale not experienced by any country since the United States after World War II. Wow. Look at that. China's trade surplus. In 2005, it was just about $100 billion. And it stayed around $200 billion until 2013. Now look at it. Only during Trump's time did China's global surge diminish. 2017, 2018, it dropped, but then it started climbing again. Now it's a $1 trillion surplus. Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well, a magnitude 6.8 on the Richter scale earthquake. By the way, so that's pronounced incorrectly too, by the way, folks. So it's not Richter. It's not Richter. We all say Richter. So people getting on me about saying Fikini, Mablala, or the Matric. I think it's Matric. That's how you say it, Matric. So people get on me about mispronouncing those things, but you all say Richter scale wrong. It's not Richter, it's Richter scale. But we don't say that because we didn't grow up with that. So a 6.8 magnitude on the Richter scale hit Japan. The epicenter was just off the southeast coast, not too far from 2 places I visited during the World Cup, Kumamoto and Oita. That's north of that, but that is the intensity. It hit Kumamoto pretty hard, but it really hit Miyazaki the hardest. The tremor, Miyazaki, was hit 7 miles southeast of the city. Seismologists reviewed data available and may revise the earthquake's reported magnitude upward or downward, probably upward. U.S. scientists observed the slower rate of Antarctic ice melts. Global warming. Global warming. Arctic says cock. It's Richter scale, not whatever you said. No, the guy was German. It's Richter. 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 Say it with me. Richter. Just like Ronaldo. Ronaldo goes. Huh? Where does Ronaldo go? It's Ronaldo. Speaking of Ronaldo, let me take a look and pop over and see if he's streaming today. We don't say pari in España either. Exactly. What is pari? What the heck is pari? Oh, he's scheduled for today. He's got a couple people waiting, so I'm going to do something here. On Pornhub, it's zipper scale. Okay, Ants. A little too much information. Didn't know you were on Pornhub. Thank you for sharing that. That's news to me. Yeah, guys are killing me. You're killing me. Hang on a second. Why is it not playing nice? Browser doesn't want to play nice. That's not right. What's going on here? There we go. Stupid thing's not playing nice. Sorry about that, folks. I got a little distracted. Let me check in on that video, by the way. I'm curious since I'm over here looking at my stats. That says 12,000. So let's see if Fikili's fantastic yacht tour. It was a 14.6 last time we looked. Let's see if it's any better. Come on. Make Mama happy. 16.4. Oh, that's 2,000 more. Oh, now it's slowing down a little bit there. But it's all right. Cool beans. All right. Back to the story at hand, ladies and gentlemen. U.S. climatologists have said that Antarctic ice melt is slowing down. What's going on? This flies in the face. The NSIDC said the recent slowdown in ice loss pauses speculation the Antarctic sea ice had entered a new regime of strongly reduced extent. Yes, the National Snow and Ice Data Center reported a slowdown in the rate of Antarctic ice loss, saying it fell well below average during November and December of last year. Antarctic sea ice loss has slowed after a prolonged period of near-record daily lows set in 2023 and 2024. So what's going on? On December 31st, 2024, the extent of Antarctic sea ice measures 7.3 million square kilometers, closely in line with the average extent observed during the period of 1981 to 2010. But I thought the planet was melting down. I thought the global ice caps were all melting. The polar bears. There's no polar bears in Antarctica, by the way. There are penguins, but no polar bears. I thought the polar bears were all going to die because it's all... Yeah, we're in a solar maximum, too, and there's more sea ice. What's going on? This doesn't fit the models. We're going to have to monkey with the data. We go now live to climatologists at universities in the Midlands in England. Quickly, please change the data. We must modify the data. It doesn't meet our narrative. Quickly, change that. Very good. Well done. Well done, Jasper. Yes. Sorry, we're back from the fake universities in the United Kingdom. The Alternative für Deutschland, or AfD, or actually it's not AfD, it's AfD. But anyway, the AfD in Deutschland has embraced mass deportation of migrants as Germany election nears. Yeah, and much rejoicing by Germans. Germany's far right is in a buoyant mood on Saturday while its conference is underway in the eastern town of Riesa in Sachsen. Alternative für Deutschland laid out ambitions to close Germany's borders, resume buying Russian gas, and in effect dismantle the European Union. Oh, I'm loving that. I'm loving that. The party's leader, Alice Weidel, even publicly embraced the term remigration, a word that's widely understood to mean the mass return of deportation of people with a migrant background. Thousands of anti-AfD supporters swarmed the streets of Riesa on Saturday. These are treasonous bastards to the German nation. Yep. Far-right parties gets lots of protest from it. Look at all the gay flags out there. So gay folks are again anti-AfD? Far-right's party convention draws protests as Germany's election campaign warms up. Thousands of people demonstrated against the convention of the far-right Alternative für Deutschland, blocking some roads and delaying the meeting's start as parties launched their campaigns for the country's election. Yeah, these same scumbags all got it together 40 years ago to protest the deployment of the Pershing II missiles to Germany. And what happened with the deployment of the Pershing IIs to Germany? The Soviet Union collapsed. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. And when the AfD takes over Germany, things will get better. People will stop having their daughters sexually assaulted, groped, and raped by fake asylum seekers. That will end. Yep, that will end. Croatia has elected its president. He's been reelected. That's Milanovic. He won the presidential vote, according to preliminary results. Croatian President Zoran Milanovic won a second term, the largely ceremonial post, and he won with a vast majority of votes, almost 75% of the electorate. Pretty well done. Dragan Primorac, the ruling Croatian Democratic Union, won just 25%. So the ceremonial post has been won. Congratulations. Well, Axios says that Denmark has been busy burning up their text messages to the Trumpster, sending Donald Trump text messages about their thoughts, offering to boost defense spending in Greenland. Amazing how Trump has got people jumping now. Denmark sent private messages recent days to President-elect Trump's team expressing willingness to discuss boosting security in Greenland or increasing the U.S. military presence on the island. Trump's refusal to rule out military force to take control of Greenland was effectively a threat to invade a long-standing NATO ally. Those comments caught Copenhagen and many other European capitals off guard. So, thank you, Laura Gozi in Copenhagen and Robert Greenall in London for many, many days later offering us 4 potential scenarios about what could happen in Greenland. I've already told my viewers this, but let's go through this. Lovely photograph, by the way, from Getty Images here of Trump Force One at the airfield there. So, Danish and European officials responded negatively, saying Greenland is not for sale and its territorial integrity must be preserved. So how would this unusual situation play out with 2 NATO allies at odds over a huge territory, which is 80% covered with ice, but has considerable untapped mineral wealth? And how could the aspirations of independence for Greenland's population of 56,000 under Danish control for 300 years affect the final outcome? Well, Trump loses interest and nothing happens. Very much could be the case. Last month, Denmark announced a new $1.5 billion military package for the Arctic. So Trump loses interest, nothing happened. Greenland votes for independence and seeks closer ties to the U.S. I would put my money this is the most likely outcome. Yep, the Greenland PM may be up in arms now, but in the event that he actually calls a referendum, he will need some kind of convincing narrative about how to save the economy and welfare system, says Ulrik God, the senior researcher at the Danish Institute for International Studies. One possible next step is free association, something like the U.S. currently has with Pacific states like Marshall Islands, Micronesia, and Palau. So there you go. Trump steps up economic pressure. That seems unlikely. And then the last one, Trump invades Greenland. Hardly seems real. We'd have no trouble taking over, but the U.S. has de facto control already, says Professor Jacobson, adding that Trump's remarks seemed ill-informed and he didn't understand the point of them. If they invade Greenland, they invade NATO, so that's where it stops. Article 5 would have to be triggered. If a NATO country invades NATO, then there's no NATO. Agreed. That's why it's silly. It's never going to happen. People need to calm down. What else we got over here in the chat while I was busy reading those stories and sharing my analysis? China lies about everything. No doubt about it. The kangaroos are getting to be a serious problem in Aussie land. Anything can be a hate crime. You're not even allowed to joke around totalitarians. Yep. Yeah, it's pretty funny that a country founded by criminals criminalizes gestures. 1930s book burning, same as, exactly. Same as YouTube video banning. Exactly right. Australians actually describe itself as Christian, democratic, economic liberals. No, they're not, Pablo. Just waiting to someone, says Gerhard. Oh, you were just I was just waving to someone. It wasn't a Nazi salute. I was just waving to someone. Comet Atlas close to the sun right now, going to explode. They think caution. Okay, well, we'll keep an eye on that. We don't say, okay, got that. Apparently there's a cyclone on the way to South Africa. Okay, I'll check into that. Japan rebuilding its military would be unheard of 10 years ago. Well, yes, you're correct. Well, no, not 10 years ago. I don't think so, Holden. 10 years ago, I was in Ethiopia, and Japan already had established an air base in Djibouti. So they were already starting that process in 2013, 2014. What else we got here? Jonathan, Just Jono, how's it from Cape Town? How you doing? I'm fine. Leonardo DiCaprio fled L.A. Yeah, exactly. People should be worrying about the giant dam built in China had an impact on the world's axis. Yeah, it tilted the world's axis and slowed down its rotation. Yep. England Midlands, must that be Dodge University? They are eating the polar bears, penguins and polar bears. Tommy Robinson documentary, yeah, silenced, yep. Greenland interested in mining security with USA, yep. Particularly in cobalt mining, children involved. That sounds like the Congo. Greenland had the buried camp century built in the 60s. I think they dug tunnel back down to it. That was, you talking about for the nuclear silos. Can't keep my eyes open. Good night. Good night, Leah. That's early. Love how crazy media is going on Trump when he's not even the president. Exactly. Camp Thule Air Force is, yeah. It's not Camp Thule. It's Thule Air Force Base. It's no longer called that. It's called something completely different now. It's a Space Force Base, no longer an Air Force Base. Yep. All right, so let's get back to the news here in just a moment. I want to check on something. How are we doing? Oh, we lost people. Oh, the traders went over to Ronaldo's channel. There you go. Justin Trudeau discusses Trump, resignation, and wildfires on CNN interview. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau told CNN that despite incoming President Trump's repeated talk of Canada becoming fit for a state, it's not going to happen. And the comments are part of a strategy to distract from the 25% tariffs. Yeah, they are. Trump is distracting from the 25% tariffs. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Juicy Trudeau, we'll see what happens. You were gone, thank goodness. And Canada has a chance to get out of the hole that you put it in, but it's going to take a long time. Well, before taking office, former congressional representative and current feckless mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass, said that one of the biggest disappointments leaving Congress is that she wouldn't get a free taxpayer vacation to Africa a couple times a month, because that's what she did. Well, she promised not to travel abroad, and she lied. Before taking office, LA's mayor said she would not go abroad. Mayor Karen Bass of Los Angeles has been criticized for being out of the country when the wildfires broke out. 3 years ago, she promised an interview to cut back on world travel and focus on the city. And she's a liar, a bold-faced liar. After first rallying her campaign for mayor in 2021, she spoke candidly about what she saw as potential drawback of the job, a lack of world travel and involvement in global affairs. She's accustomed to circling the globe as a demon rat member of Congress and the House Foreign Affairs Committee and spent decades milking U.S. taxpayers on trips to Africa. Yep. I went to Africa every couple months all the time. The idea of leaving that, especially international work and the Africa work, I was like, I don't think I want to do that. Just a gas bag who got to free rides to Africa because because she's black. She's certainly not competent. She doesn't know anything about Africa. She's an idiot, to say the least. Speaking of the wildfires that she allowed to fester and get out of control, they continue to blaze out of control at this hour. 24 now reportedly dead as firefighters race to contain the wildfires. High winds are expected to return. They have made some progress in containing fires. 24 dead, 16 missing, and 12,000 structures burned. Look at that helicopter. That's like pissing in the wind. It's just going to blow right back on you. Like that little bit of water is going to put that fire out in the Mandeville Canyon. Wow. Firefighters are racing to contain wildfires in greater Los Angeles as forecasters warn of the return of strong winds this week. Coupled with low humidity, officials expect high winds to sweep through the region in the coming days with gusts of 50 miles per hour. These wind events are coming into Los Angeles. Every available firefighter is on hand and will remain in place through this wind event. Additionally, firefighters continue to pour into Southern California region to bolster our firefighting capabilities. Firefighters have been coming from all over the world, from Mexico, Canada, and from the U.S. to help out with the situation. I'm trying to find a map. I have a map here that I downloaded yesterday. If I can find it, that actually shows where'd it go. I hate this. It's hard to find things sometimes. I'm not finding it, so I guess we're not going to be able to show that map. Shame. I found that map last night, and it's not here. There's the whale stuff. Anyway, not particularly important. All right, so yeah, that's happening. Firefighters coming from all over the U.S., western states in particular, to help fight the fire, but it's a little too late. Too late. Well, Los Angeles is burning, and the burning mouth of a potty mouth representative immigrant from the state of Washington. Democratic representative is distraught that immigrants who already broke the law by crossing the border could be detained under the Laken Riley Act. There she is. Democratic Representative Pramila Jayapal of Washington claimed Sunday evening that the Laken Riley Act would deprive illegal immigrants of due process if it was passed, even though they already broke the law. So she's claiming that she said, look, the first thing I need to know is that if an undocumented immigrant commits a horrendous act of murder, like what happened to Laken Riley, that person is immediately mandatorily detained and deported if they're convicted of that. Now, this is what this bill does. As you said, is that expands that to shoplifting and theft, and that says there's no due process. You're not entitled to due process if you're not a citizen or green card holder. You're not. The Constitution doesn't apply to you. You've illegally entered this country. You're extrajudicial. You must be deported. Giving these people, this is ridiculous. Unbelievable. So let me give you an example, she said. A shopkeeper doesn't like the way somebody looks when they walk into a store. They accuse that person of shoplifting. That person is immediately arrested by the police and immediately turned over and mandatorily detained by within the criminal justice system. That person has not had a trial. There's no evidence that person actually committed the crime they're accused of, and yet they're mandatory detained. They have committed a crime, Miss Dingbat. They invaded America, and therefore they can be detained lawfully. If it takes someone reporting them, fine. She's an idiot. These morons. And she goes on about how it took 17 years for her to get citizenship. Well, we don't want you as a citizen. Go back to India, sweetheart. You're useless. So let's take a look at the maps of the fires in Los Angeles. And here you can see the Pacific Palisades fire is the biggest one. The Eaton fire is large too. The Hearst and Kenneth fire. And then there's the Ladita fire up in the mountains. Los Angeles, man, all ablaze. Malibu is in trouble. Santa Monica is on the edge of this fire now too. Thousand Oaks so far has escaped this, and downtown Los Angeles is not threatened. But these fires are driven by winds in the mountains and canyons. Not a good thing. The Palisades fire, 23,700 acres burned. The population of that area is 23,000. Eaton, 14,000 acres burned. Population also 23,000. The Palisades fire is still only 14% contained. How much is there to burn? It's been burning for a week. In Hearst fire, that one is 89% contained. Just 799 acres burned. Wow. So, there's still some fires burning here. Wow. Crazy stuff. Los Angeles. The federal government announces new Joe Biden export restrictions on artificial intelligence technology. Addresses concerns that AI in the wrong hands could pose significant national security risks. You think? The U.S. leads the world in AI, both development and chip design. It's critical that we keep it that way, says Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo told reporters. But the Biden administration has gone after NVIDIA, claiming it's a monopoly. Well, they're producing the AI chips, and you want to destroy them? Idiots. J.D. Vance says that Donald Trump will not pardon violent offenders in the January 6th event. If you commit violence on that day, obviously you shouldn't be pardoned. Vice President-elect J.D. Vance said January 12th that individuals who were violent during the Capitol breach in 2021 obviously should not be pardoned. President-elect Trump has vowed to use his clemency power for people who have been charged in connection with the incident over 4 years ago. Those who protested peacefully should receive a pardon. I think it's very simple. If you protested peacefully on January 6th and you've had Attorney General Merrick Garland's Department of Justice treated like a gang member, you should be pardoned. If you committed violence, you shouldn't be pardoned. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. Not rocket science. So I'm going to have him run out of here by Inauguration Day. Steve Bannon escalates a war of words with Elon Musk. Donald Trump's former White House chief strategist branded the Protect Tycoon as a truly evil person. Donald Trump's former senior advisor, Steve Bannon, has taken another swipe at Elon Musk, claiming he will personally see the billionaire is kicked out of the president-elect's inner circle prior to inauguration next week. MAGA infighting intensified Sunday after Bannon again criticized Musk's supported H-1B program. Yep, Trump's first White House chief strategist was fired after 7 months in August 2017, branded Musk as a truly evil person, and declared decreasing his influence on the incoming commander-in-chief has become personal. Oh, my goodness. My goodness. What is going on with Steve Bannon and Elon Musk? That's pretty entertaining. Well, ladies and gentlemen, their wealth was in their homes, and their homes are now ash. This is a reason why I've always been against the argument that a home is an investment, that you accrue equity and build wealth over time through homes. It just doesn't happen. Look what happens when you have no insurance and your home is destroyed. Sylvia Sweeney and her husband, Bob Honeychurch, why do they have different surnames, bought their 3-bedroom home nestled in the foothills of the San Gabriel Valley for $780,000 in 2009. It started this year, it was worth more than double that by one estimate. On Wednesday, raging wildfires swept through their Altadena neighborhood. When the couple went back later that day to see what was left of their home, all that was standing was the mailbox. Sweeney, a 69-year retired clergy woman, what the hell is a clergy woman, estimates that her home made up roughly 80% of the family's overall wealth. It was our beautiful dream home. It was our primary wealth. Towering flames powered by hurricane-force winds destroyed or damaged more than 12,000 structures. Yep, they've wiped out the homes of the middle class and the wealthy alike. Here is a map that shows visible damage on satellite and other imagery is all the red, and that is pretty scary. The lighter color is the perimeter of the fire. So there she is with her husband at the home of a friend in San Gabriel. That was their home. I feel bad for the Miss Sweeney. That's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. The fireplace and the mailbox are the only thing left standing. This is Papik, this lady, and a family member search for an urn containing the ashes of her late husband. Frank Figueroa and his family watch the news in their hotel room in Arcadia. That's her son, Ignacio. There's Frank Figueroa's home in 2015, and on Saturday, on the right. Wow. Completely gone. Medium home ownership tenure by city. Los Angeles has one of the longest held homes. 18.7 years is the median. That's the average. Las Vegas, just 8 years. Wow. Opika Okayo looks through the rubble of his aunt's home in Altadena. One of his old hard drives lost in the fire. Wow. Typical home value in the LA metro area is $956,000, more than double the national average of $359,000. So my home isn't worth the typical average. Yikes, that's sad. No insurance. Yeah, State Farm Insurance, I believe, canceled the policies of many people in Pacific Palisades about 6 months ago. Yep, article. What else we got here? South Africa sending firefighters. I've got no update on that, Gary. I asked that question. I had no answer. Denmark and Canada have a friendly dispute over a small island. Every few months, each country Navy visits, puts up the flag, and leaves the case. Yeah, that's true. I've heard that story before. Awkward Leon says, rather stay here. Ronaldo doesn't read my comments. Okay, Awkward Leon. Wonder if the millionaires will rebuild. I don't know. Mr. Hungarian Goulash just keeps getting better and better. Oh, you're Hungarian Goulash. Nothing sounds more American than Jamila Depay. Exactly, Matthew. You know what I just find dumb is that all of us being angry and ending each day for leaders across the world, it boggles my mind that people follow leaders who want destruction. I don't follow them. I call them out. UK PM to unleash AI to boost growth. Okay. Article stated $57 billion in damages so far. No, it's $150 billion is the damages, the estimate so far. Yep. If that leader is not on the front line with me, then go fly a kite. With you 100%. Steve Bannon is a retard, says Matthew. Oh, my goodness. You guys are killing me there. What do you got? It says, Holden is still here. Richard Marchenko told the American people this would happen. Donald Trump told the American people this would happen. I've been telling the American people this would happen for years, but I didn't focus on Los Angeles. I focused on the Redwoods and Yosemite in particular. I talked about Yosemite National Park and how the idiocy, the foolishness, the hubris of human beings in preventing forest fires had led to a conflagration-ready tinderbox of brush that prevented new giant sequoias from taking root because they couldn't get any sunlight. You see, the fire is natural. Lightning strikes, it burns. What happens? The cones that drop from the giant sequoias won't open on their own. It takes intense heat to crack them open, like popcorn. They pop open, then the seeds can be released. Otherwise, the cones never open. The brush, lightning hits, the brush is burned off a small amount. But when you don't let it be taken out for years, you let it build up, you create an untenable situation, and it's disastrous. Disastrous. The trees are scorched at the lower levels. All the leaves burned off by fires, natural fires, and then the canopy is opened up a bit, and these young seedlings and saplings can grow after the cones pop open. I've been talking about mismanagement of California's forest for years. And that includes what's happening in Southern California. The overly populated, densely populated places in Southern California are a recipe for disaster given the environmental situation. The Santa Ana winds aren't new. They weren't created by global warming. They aren't a new phenomenon. The low humidity is not a new phenomenon. LA is a desert. When you build in a desert, you take on risk. When you build houses right next to each other, jammed in like this, instead of spread out, you create a situation in which fire can leap from place to place with high winds. This isn't rocket science. When you build water lines that rely on pumps that come from commercial power lines that are above ground that burn and spark during fires and the power goes out, you create an untenable situation. When you drain reservoirs in the hills meant to provide emergency water access to put fires out before they spread, you create problems. When you fail to purchase firefighting aircraft and equipment and instead piss down the drain $13 billion for non-existent high rail system, well, this is what you get. And if you are Californians, you voted for this. You voted for Newsom. You voted for Schwarzenegger. You voted for Pete Wilson. You idiots caused this. You got what you created. Now, that's unfortunate for all the people who lost their lives and lost their homes, but this is a situation which you Californians have created. And now we have to pay for it. We have to pay for you to rebuild out of our pockets. Unbelievable. Imagine how doped everyone was with all the cannabis that burnt. Yeah. So they can't rebuild. Typical corruption in California. Yeah, look what happened in North Carolina. Yep. What I do for ice spine. Oh, you can have the ice spine. Ugh. Religious stuff about revenge regarding fires and social media evil stuff. I haven't seen that. Not a natural disaster. Arson to burn Hollywood's evidence. No concern for collateral damage contained means fully burned out. Yep. Cartel operates California's parks. That's news to me. Saw on Facebook that large group of firefighters landed in Canada to go assist in LA. You're talking about South Africans. Okay. California's the world's largest subnational economy. Yes, they're sixth largest economy in the world. And your point? Why keep fire hydrants when the illegal marijuana farmers are stealing water? Same with the chaparral, maquis, and fenbos. They're all meant to have fires in order to regrowth. Exactly. You're right. High desert chaparral. You're right, Charles. You're right. The fenbos. Absolutely. Native Indian tribes warned about Santa Ana wind, the devil wind. Yep. Getting the Maui line. Yep. You're right, Michael. All the irreplaceable stuff that burnt. Yeah, that's sad. That's sad. I'd be bummed out. I mean, I got so many little nifty little mementos and things I collect that, if I had a fire that cost me that stuff, I'd really be bummed out. Yeah, all the irreplaceable stuff. Yep. The memories that go with it. Yeah. Well, some Hollywood celebrities have lost their homes. Not James Woods. His home miraculously survived. But Mel Gibson, Jeff Bridges have lost their homes. Jeff Bridges, Mel Gibson, among celebrities who have lost their homes in deadly fires raging in the Los Angeles area. Bridges, who won an Oscar for Crazy Heart and stars in the TV series The Old Man, lost his home in Malibu, which he and his siblings inherited from his parents. Oscar-winning film star Gibson revealed his Malibu home was completely toasted while he was away recording Joe Rogan's podcast. Anthony Hopkins, winner of 2 Oscars for Silence of the Lambs, and The Father, and his wife lost 2 homes in Pacific Palisades. Wow. Paris Hilton, Billy Crystal, Adam Brody, and Milo Ventimiglia. Who the hell is Milo Ventimiglia? Are among other celebrities who lost their homes. Ventimiglia is best known for his roles in Gilmore Girls. Really? I didn't know that. 47-year-old knowledge that his character, Jack Pearson, in the TV series This Is Us, suffers from smoke inhalation after his home burns down. It's not lost on me, life imitating art. Hotel heiress Paris Hilton confirmed earlier this week she had lost her home in Malibu. The heartbreak is truly indescribable, she said, adding that her family was safe. Rosie O'Donnell, former co-host of The View, also said she lost her beachfront home in Malibu. Some of the worst devastation was in the scenic enclave of Pacific Palisades, where hundreds of homes have been reduced to ash. Billy Crystal said in a statement that he and his wife Janice were heartbroken by the loss of their Pacific Palisades home, where they'd lived since 1979. Every inch of her house was filled with love, beautiful memories that can't be taken away. Wow. Jurassic World actress Daniela Pineda also lost her home. I have one pair of shoes to my name, she said. Wow. Mandy Moore. Miraculously, the main part of our house is still standing for now. Ricky Lake lost her dream home. John Goodman, Anna Faris, Denise Crosby, and Carrie Ells reportedly lost their homes. Mark Hamill was forced to flee, along with Eugene Levy. James Woods' home was not destroyed. Wow. Jamie Lee Curtis said her Pacific Palisades home was safe, but the situation was gnarly. Okay, that's the fire if you lay it over New York and London. That would show you how much of Los Angeles has been burned. Wow. Dua Lipa revealed in the post on Instagram that she fled the city and is safe, as if we care. Wow. A lot of celebrities lost their homes. Look, I'm not going to gloat because I'm not cruel, and I feel bad for all those people who lost their homes. It's horrific, and especially those who lost their lives. I hope firefighters don't lose their lives fighting this conflagration, which is man-enhanced. I'm basically referring to trolls all over the place, referring to America destroyed Gaza. Oh, gotcha. Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah, the BLM co-founder lost 2 of her 3 homes. Yeah, we know the grift is over for her. I guess she'll have to start some more BLM nonsense to get some more money. Price gouging. The guy was going to lease a house for $18,000. They jacked the price to $30,000. Well, no doubt. Had a friend in Australia. His house would not sell. Forest fire burnt it down. Insurance paid out paydays. Well, that worked out. Yeah, Dua Lipa. I don't find her that interesting. Check out a Resnick family in California water. Okay. Resnick in California water. Okay, let me look for that. Okay. California water. Claims about a billionaire couple's efforts hurting. Yeah, the other ones they use a bunch of water. Pistachio billionaires. Claims about billionaire couple hurting efforts to fight the LA fires via the control of water are simply false, says Fortune magazine. The pistachio billionaires who guzzle more water than all the fire-ravaged Los Angeles. The wildfires engulfing Los Angeles put an uncomfortable spotlight on 2 of the richest residents, Stuart and Linda Resnick, agriculture tycoons whose farms guzzle a vital and scarce resource, water. They're tied to Gavin Newsom. Yep. I heard people complaining about this. They own more than 185,000 acres of farmland across California, including almond groves, which suck a lot of water. And for years battled criticism about the vast sums of water used to irrigate their crops. Where she's a plastic surgery story. Look at this lady, man. Oh, that's the wrong window. Sorry. Hang on a second here. Where are we at? Come on. There we go. Come on. There we go. Yeah, plastic surgery nightmare. Look at that. Stuart and Linda Resnick. Yep, anyway. So, yeah, this is a bit carried away here. Anyway, they shouldn't be blamed for this because they got agriculture. You want to blame agriculture, blame the entire state. Don't just blame the Resnicks. That's just silly. That's just silly. Oh, we're down to 78 people. What happened there? You can show it if you like. I did show it. If you look at the Rothschilds, then you'll go down a dark hole. Saw your comment on Mr. Wood's post. I replied to you. I attached a pic of me, also 15 years old, but I hope you like it. Oh, that was a while ago, Mr. Big. I don't recall that. I'll have to go back and look. California can start a new Chinese economic zone part. Yeah, well, they're just going to have to. The places that are torched are just going to have to be. Imagine they're going to have to dig a big hole to bury all that stuff. It's toxic too. What's your take on Russia? Are the sanctions making Russia's economy? Well, okay, Michael, I'm not sure what your question is there. The sanctions imposed by Biden and by the European Union against Russia have had no effect. And I said they would have no effect. The reason I've had little to no effect is because, as I correctly said, prior to the invasion launch, Putin went to China and he met with Xi Jinping, and they agreed on a deal. China would back Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and China would buy, so they could disrupt the world and distract from their pilfering of the world's economy. They would buy Russia's timber, oil, iron, gold, all the resources. They would buy it so that they weren't short. So China is a money laundering operation of the world's wealth back to Russia to keep funding their war machine. Who else has said that? I haven't seen any other commenter say that. I've said that since February of 2022, since before the invasion. That's what I've said. Fact. Go back and look it up. If you're willing to look through all the streams, you'll see that I talked about that they got the green light from the Chinese communists to disrupt global affairs by invading Ukraine. Simple as that. I've said it along, and I stick to that point. So Joe Biden is now imposing sanctions on 173 oil tankers and Russian oil companies. These are sanctions that, if he meant to punish Russia, should have been applied in February of 2022, not January of 2025, 3 years later. This is just setting Trump up for a mess, because if Trump rescinds the sanctions, see, he's in the pockets of Putin. That's stupid. Stupid. Looked as if she had plastic surgery, but she attributed her smooth skin to the aquatic. Yeah, no. She's had multiple plastic surgeries, no doubt about that. A few days ago, yes, Mr. Big, but I post a lot. I'll have to go back and see. Thank you. Will Oprah buy all the burned down houses like she did in Hawaii? Yeah. But the Russians are a vanguard of freedom and patriotism. Trump needs to help Putin. Freedom and patriotism. Are you being sarcastic? Russia's not free. There's no freedom there. It's a country run by oligarchs. Anyway. All right, folks. Let me go check on that video and see how it's doing now. 3 videos I did this morning before I went to bed after 3 o'clock. So, the Fikili's Fantastic Yacht, that one is at, come on, 17,500. It's starting to slow down now, though. 1,700 in the last 2 hours. Last hour, that's how I gauge it. So, it looks like it's on track for maybe getting to 20,000 this evening. That'd be nice. And 41 new subscribers. Thank you for that. The ANC renewal one, that finally went over 1,000. It's currently at 1,200. Is that right? 1,200? Let me reload that. Time to talk about Romania. What do you want to talk about Romania? Okay, yeah, the news is over, Holden. You can ask questions. Sorry, just for clarity there. And then the ANC defended Fikile Mabalu. That one's at 2,400. Got me 7 subscribers, so thank you for that. So, come on. I got to work hard to get these subscribers, man. Anyway, but I'm glad that new people are finding the channel. Some are, anyway. So we're at 21,072. Sunday edition can't be monetized. Why is this, YouTube? Say goodbye. Goodbye, Joe. Oh, yeah, that's why. Because let's take that out. Trim out segment. That's from Tom McDonald. Get rid of that. Okay. So we'll fix that. 21,072. Okay, cool beans. All right. What time do you wake up, Colonel? Do you think it's important to wake up early? Does it make you productive? Do you learn to wake up early in the military? In the military, you learn to wake up whenever you're needed. I mean, oftentimes you go in exercise deployments, you work, shifts, or you work odd hours. I remember a BCTP, Battle Command Training Program exercise in which it ran for about 10 days. And I never had a night's sleep during that 10 days. I was a lieutenant doing a major's job. There's supposed to be a major, a captain, a sergeant first class, a staff sergeant, and several privates. There was me as a lieutenant, 1 staff sergeant, and 2 privates. And they were all inexperienced and didn't know what they're doing. So as a lieutenant, I got a few 15-minute cat naps during that time. Never slept during that 10 days. And I functioned, highly functioned, and very successfully functioned. So now do I sleep? I sleep when I need to. I tend to be getting naps late in the afternoon like an old person now, not because I'm old, but because I'm up in the middle of the night because I'm doing production. South Africa is 7 hours ahead of me. I do a lot of production, prepared videos on South Africa because that's where I get the return on investment as far as people watching my content sometimes. So I try to analyze it. I think it's important for an external voice without a dog in the fight to comment on what's going on in South Africa. So last night there were 3 topics that I felt were newsworthy that needed attention, so I was up late. So tonight, hopefully I'll get to bed at a reasonable hour. So usually I go to bed around midnight, and get up about 5 or 7, if there's a normal thing. What else? Russia had the same leader for years, and people in Russia will not speak out. Yep. How does YouTube pay you? Bank deposit. Yes, it's a bank deposit. You set up an AdSense account, which is a company that they own, and then you have to meet the standards, you know, the 4,000 views, the 1,000 hours of content within the trailing 12 months. Then you can you can monetize, and they pay you for, you get 70% of your super chat and membership revenue, although they cheat because they use artificial exchange rates and cheat me out of money all the time. You get 55% of the ad revenue that's generated. They get 45%, and you get all of that deposited every month, 3 weeks after the month is over. They sit on your money for 3 weeks. Usually you get a deposit around the 20th or 21st of the month. Yep. But I don't make that much money. All the money I made off this channel doesn't even cover my travel to South Africa. It doesn't. It doesn't. I mean, it helps. I appreciate that. How much I pay for my damn insurance. It's nice to get that. But it doesn't. Memberships, we're currently at 149 members. Gained 58 in the last year. We dropped down to 103, so we're back from that. 101 we actually at December, so we're back up by 49. But that's mostly because people are giving out free memberships, so I appreciate that. Thank you for that. Yeah, so anyway. Because there's a document titled The Operational Environment, Large-Scale Combat Operations, and it relates to Romania. Okay, what do you want to talk about, Holden? I mean, I'm not familiar with the document. What are you reading, and what's your question? Right, California wouldn't let companies raise their insurance rates, so they just drop their policies. Yep. Not in favor of war. Ukraine, Russia is killing people. They've spent billions creating war, and not one of those countries has spent that on building the countries. Exactly. Matthew says, I think someone should get free memberships. Yeah, Matthew has gotten like 45 free memberships over the years. Man. Anyway, so what do you guys got for me? The Romania thing, you got to give it to me, Matthew, or not Matthew, Holden. Give me what you want to know about Romania, because I'm ready to wrap up. I was going to wrap up a few minutes ago, but I was waiting for you to give me something on that. There are a lot of jokes out there, PK. You're right about that. A lot of things are just really sad. Found my baptism certificate in storage. I no idea if I still have my baptism certificate. I was baptized like 3 different times. Well, this is fascinating. Check this out. At 1 o'clock this morning, I had 257. At midnight, I had 91 views, and that would be 7 a.m. South Africa. And at 1 o'clock, I had in the morning 257. Then 2 o'clock, 998. 3 o'clock, 1,757 views. Then 4 o'clock, 1,534 views. 5 o'clock, 1,647. 6 o'clock, 1885. 7 o'clock, 2423. 8 o'clock, 2517. 9 o'clock, 2665. 10 o'clock, 2884. 11 o'clock, 27. So up until 10 o'clock this morning, which would be 5 o'clock South African time, I kept gaining views. That's pretty wild. And then we dropped down. It's 12:30. We got 1,500 this hour, so we could get close to 2,800 again. That's pretty awesome. Anyway, so Kathleen would have better answers than I would. Kathleen Kavlik. Okay. Holden, look, I'm really sorry. You keep coming with stuff that I'm not familiar with. Look, I'm familiar with Romania, but I don't know what what's their name? Hang on a second. Kavlik. U.S. ambassador. I didn't know that was ambassador. Okay. Ambassador, Romania honors you. There's nothing here. So, not sure what you're going out there. See Babylon B for funny Meghan Markle annex. My sister didn't make it. She passed. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness, Val. I'm so sorry to hear that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll take a moment of silence for Val's sister who passed away today at the age of 67. Thoughts and prayers on your loss, Val. I'm so sorry to hear that. Folks, let's just take a moment of silence for Val's sister. Well, I'm very sorry. 67 is far too young. That's youth these days. 67. People need to live to 90 or 100. Really sorry to hear that. I hope that she passed peacefully and wasn't suffering. Wow. What a way to end our stream today. Yep. people pouring in their condolences to Val's sister now. What was her name, Val? What was your sister's name, if you don't mind sharing, if it's not too much? Hey, Beth, how you doing? You've been quiet in the stream. Elizabeth Kruger, same to you. Wow. See, this is a community, folks. It's the Wyatt Army. The Wyatt Army's wishing you the best. Jennifer. That's my little sister's name, Jennifer. Wow. Well, folks, thoughts and prayers to Jennifer. I don't know if her surname was Cooper or what her surname was, but thoughts and prayers to Jennifer, and smooth winds, fair winds and smooth sailing to her in the next existence, if there is one. Wow. Wow, Val, I'm so sorry. I didn't know she was ill. Wow. Folks, that's the thing about it. All the people, their nonsense on social media, and all the politicians and their aggrandizing. You can't escape the ultimate fate. We all, one day or another, you can't. So make the most of your life, get the most out of it, and achieve it all that you can as best you can. Let me take a look at some of the comments on these things. We'll get somebody. What is this? I'm gonna have to do a translate from Google. Hopefully, there's let's see, translate Google, because I don't recognize the language. Got to do auto detect here. Detect language. Who saw who was with him on the yacht? After all, he was sleeping with men. Oh, good Lord. Ubani Obonile. Ubambane kolelo ya tapela walalela namadora esik. Wow, that's kind of glad. Sorry, I just told my Val's sister, but I mean, just reading that's pretty shocking what someone wrote there. So anyway, what's this? Charles, my goodness. People are trying to be clever here, and they're putting other languages in here as if we can't look it up on Google to translate. Let's see what this is. He had met the Boers and Malengo and fell in love. He remembers Brett Kebbell dying in a mysterious way. He remembers visiting Johan Ripper. They even gossip about Zuma. It's an old spy, if you think this is why they get along so with Ramaphosa. Okay, talking about Fikile Mbalula. Didn't know he was a spy. Interesting. Boy, mostly positive stuff there. But I get 98 points. I'm surprised. 509 likes and 6 dislikes on that video. So, yeah, so it's going, wow. Yeah. Wow. So inching up towards 1,000 hours of content viewed on that. 17,900 now. Cool beans. 17,900 on that video. So that's pretty awesome. Saying goes, you can't run from the wind. Exactly. Did you see the ambassador that the ANC is sending to the U.S.? Oh, yeah. YouTube, Ibrahim Rasul. Yeah, he's been very insulting of Trump, and he called Trump a Nazi. So that's not going to go well. Not going to go well. All right, folks are saying really nice things about Val's sister. So we're going to wrap up, folks, and I'm going to send you over to Ronaldo if you want to go there. So thank you for being here. Appreciate it. God bless, and have a good day. And again, thoughts and prayers to Val and her family as they deal with this difficult time. And we'll see you guys tomorrow, unless a news story breaks before then. Cheers.
I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right.
That's not how I wanted to end the broadcast. Sorry about that. Distracted. Here we go.